Not just every time. Time out thing. I can't do that thing because I only have one end. But you know what I'm talking about. Bye, peoples. Welcome back. So today we need to actually stop pretending, and we need to actually start talking about the elephant in the room. And now I've seen the debates online going on about, is football actually better than, well, in this term, it's American football. So is American football better than soccer, right? So it's a very interesting topic that people have been talking about it, and I feel like I need to weigh in on it, and let's have a discussion, a strong people, and hopefully no one's feelings get hurt while I'm talking. And we need to actually start to stop. Actually we need to stop pretending as if American football is actual football, because to be able to play football, you need feet to play football. There is in part of football is your feet, which is one is a foot in plural feet, and it has a ball in it. That's why it's called football. Not this American junk that they call football that just commercials every 30 seconds, right? But let's settle this once and for all, and give you a little bit of a back history, because see, soccer, or what the rest of the world, correctly calls it, football, came first. The game obviously dates back to almost like, I think it's 1,000 years, a couple centuries or something, and the official rules were written in England. And apparently they started the whole entire thing, but you know what, it is what it is. And they call it association football, ASOC for short, which later became soccer. So now you know where the soccer term came from. So when you have, in the meantime, America came with American football, which is just a remix. So what they did is they took rugby and threw in some body armor and said, let's call this football. But you barely ever use your feet, you use hands. They should have actually just called it handball, because they use more of their hands than they do their feet. Now let's talk reach. Soccer is played in pretty much every country on earth, including America, funny enough, and over 200 nations have a national team. And the FIFA World Cup in 2022 had 5 billion viewers. 5 billion viewers for one match, for one tournament. Put that into perspective. Well, the 5 billion, that's just accounting on the devices that are live. But what if there's families of 10, of 20s, don't know how Africans produce, but sometimes they have like, a whole project Mbappe. And when you compare this with the Super Bowl, their main event once a year, which everyone is supposedly tunes in, averages about 115 million viewers. Now compare 5 billion versus, 115. So let's be honest here, the World Cup is what the Super Bowl wants to be when it grows up. So yeah, let's talk about maybe culture and unity. Maybe American football might win in this, because soccer isn't just a sport, it's a language. It's the sound of kids playing in dusty streets, in African townships, the madness in Brazil, the tears in Europe, and chaos in Argentina. I don't know why there's always chaos when they play, but there's chaos there. It's one of the few things that can make a billion people cry at the same time. If you don't believe me, go watch Manchester United. It will surely leave you crying. And the Super Bowl has never done that, right? So let's talk about maybe accessibility and skill. You don't need pads, you don't need helmets or $1 billion stadium. All you need is a ball. That's why soccer belongs to everybody. But skill-wise, though, that's a different story, because you can't fake footwork like Messi. You can't script precision passing like Kevin De Bruyne. Soccer demands creativity, stamina, IQ, which most of them lack, and heart, which is the most important part. There is no timeout. You only get one timeout, which is halftime, which is 15 minutes after playing for 45 minutes. There's no pauses. 90 minutes of pure playing. Now you only 15 minutes of break. It's not just every time. Timeout thing. I can't do that thing because I only have one end. But you know what I'm talking about. But let's talk about business. The Premier League alone makes more than the entire NFL's international revenue. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi are global brands worth billions. If you don't believe me, ask Coca-Cola. But Ronaldo removing that Coke bottle from the table, they lost a lot of stock. So let's just don't let's define culture. Because from Zimbabwe to London, from Cape Town to Bangkok, everybody knows Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. And ask someone outside the US and ask him, who's Patrick Mahomes? They'll ask you, who the heck is that? I had to research Patrick Mahomes because I don't know the guy. So yeah, American football is big, but only in America. But soccer, when you talk about soccer, that's the original football. That's a global thing. It's not just here in America and be like, yeah, we're making it. No, 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 no. Until the Super Bowl can make a child in Zimbabwe or a child in Hanover Park in Cape Town cry like the way they cry when Manchester United loses, then you can't say come and say American football is bigger than soccer, the original football, the actual game you actually need feet to play the game. You should just rename that game to be handball because that's not football. You need feet, and you aren't using it.